Yeah the Girls, the official Geelong Cats AFL Footy podcast, brought to you by Deakin University, home to the world's #1 sports science school. Renee Gehring, and I'm joined by Becky Webster and Georgie Rankin.
We're back.
We are back.
On a Tuesday. This
On
is
a
weird.
Tuesday.
Tuesday morning, I should
strange.
say.
On a rainy Tuesday morning.
Oh, did you bring your boots today, girls? Because I don't think I can run in runners on the ground today.
Oh my gosh, I
over.
didn't even think about that. Regrets. Oh, I might have some spares in my locker.
And it's been a very long weekend. We
It
had
has
the
been
opportunity to
a
have a
long
bit of a mini
weekend.
break over the weekend, no training or commitments over the weekend. So Thursday seems like a long time ago, and we'll touch on the game shortly and talk to that. But long weekend. What did we get up to? Obviously, a big game. There was a big game on, wasn't
A
there?
few big games on. Yeah, Thursday, obviously we played. We'll chat to that in a minute. And then, for me, Friday I had a wedding to attend.
Oh, wow.
So that was really nice. Got to go to that and then enjoy the beautiful sun, which was
Wasn't it
stunning.
lovely?
Wasn't it nice? I had a couple of beach days.
Yeah,
Actually
wasn't
set
it?
up the umbrella down the
Great.
beach. It was heaven. So good.
love it.
But we got into the big dance.
Yes.
A bit different when your team's not in.
I was
don't
going
you
to say
feel?
it's different to last year.
Oh,
I can say that.
Yeah, we had the opportunity last year to go and to be
Yeah.
part
And to
of
celebrate
it.
afterwards and
Yeah.
be amongst the players. And it was very different.
Yeah.
Where did you watch it, Nay?
I watched it at a friend's place, and I was on Parker duty. So I tried to watch. I think I probably saw about 10 minutes for the whole game, unfortunately. But I kept trying to bring him in and give him some snacks, but he just wasn't interested. The sprinkler was on in the backyard, and the kids were all playing in the backyard. So I was on kid duty of 6 kids and playing with them while everyone watched the game. But
I love it.
no, when I got to go inside, it was a great.
It's a
I love a close
great
game.
game.
Love to watch
It was
a close
almost
game.
better to be like, this is just a great game of footy, and
Yes.
I'm not as invested in
Yeah.
one team or the other, so you could
Completely.
totally enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, agreed.
What about you girls? Where'd you watch it?
Just went over to a friend's place too, which was nice. And I was like, you know when you're like around people and you're like, as if you're not sitting in here watching this right now. Like they were off obviously having fun, having a few drinks and stuff. And I was just sitting in there like, as if you're not sitting on the couch right now invested in this game. Like it's probably one of the best AFL grand finals I've ever watched.
I know, it was indeed. I was at AMAC and Prez's place watching it.
Prez?
Prez is
Collingwood.
Collingwood. So I thought that was
yes.
nice. I kind of thought, I want to be around someone who is invested in one of these
was she
teams. She was a little bit. I think she she found at one point that there was probably a few of us barracking for Bruce. So I think it made it a bit hard on her. But we got around her at the end, and it was so nice to see. I think like even last night there was a bit of, there's so much of the recap that then goes on, and things that Dad's going, gee, quick, sit on the couch, watch this. Just seeing like the reflection afterwards and hearing about, we know the journey that happens inside our four walls and each club, as much as it seems so similar, it is different in terms of what they're facing week in, week out. So it is kind of nice to see that and reflect on that afterwards. And I think even post game, there was a few that were sort of like, oh, didn't see much of that player, but on grand final day, everyone plays their role and we're all there. Listen to me. Everyone's there to, get the premiership medal, be a premiership side. So it's like you play your role. That's an absolute
You're getting
win.
the medal at the end of the day, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter how many times you touch the footy. But probably my biggest highlight from the weekend was the Collingwood coach Fly having a baby girl, naming it Maggie, and winning the premiership. Like,
I didn't make that
Oh my
connection.
gosh, neither
yes.
did I.
Oh.
Like, how gorgeous is that?
That's
like,
fun.
that just stole the show.
I saw the
reckon.
photo of her in the cup. I was like,
Little
oh my gosh,
Maggie after
bless.
Magpies.
Yeah,
That
very
is
cute.
very sweet.
Well, we do have a big show in our store today, ladies. We're going to look back at the weekend's game, as we said, against the Demons. Look ahead to the Bombers. A big weekend in Warrnambool will be Rankin with Georgie Rankin. And we'll be joined by a very special guest, one of the biggest names in football, Daisy Pearce. She's a premiership player, a 3 times All-Australian, a 4-time AFLPA best captain, and I could go on. The list is very long of
It
her.
is. I looked back at the run sheet and I thought there is a lot of dot points
It's
on
amazing. In terms of her involvement from the grassroots footy of the VFL or VWFL all the way through an individual recognition to obviously team success as well and the role she's played as a leader. So really excited to chat with her and all of that and more thanks to Deakin. But we'll start with the game. Obviously, as we said, it seems a long time ago. We see each other, feels like nearly every day in the club, and we've had a few days off and a bit of time to sit on the game, to reflect. Obviously, we'll chat with coaches and so forth today, but reflecting back, initial thoughts, initial reflections, positives for us to take from the game, and we knew Melbourne are a very strong side that will capitalise and take their opportunities, and they did that. It's one thing watching and I suppose preparing for a game, but playing against them, when they got out, they really got out. I don't know, G and Becky, both of you in the back line, the speed on the game that they put on and the forwards and the way that they move was one thing for me that stood out. And again, watching it back, I was like, the pace they go, you can't give them an inch, they take a mile.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously we'll get to us because we don't talk too much on them, but I think, they are the benchmark side of the competition, and they have powerful runners across all lines that when they run in numbers, it's a lot when it's coming at you. But I think midfield to midfield match up, the girls did an unbelievable job in there. Becky, you rolled in there too, and it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on how that felt. But those positives of being able to still play our way for patches of the game, and to be honest, when you're playing a really good side, that's never going to be a 4-quarter consistent start to end. There's going to be ebbs and flows, but I think particularly probably for 3 quarters, and we know that they run away in the 4th, and there is talk on that, but 3 quarters of playing the way we want to play, getting some great hit ups, some great ball movement, and those hands, clean hands ourselves of getting some run on the board. But I'd be interested, Beck, how you found it inside.
Yeah, completely. I thought the first half was, I thought we were really good. We wanted to play our brand of footy, which I think we did for most of the game. Obviously, the scoreboard probably doesn't reflect how we felt. Yeah. I definitely felt like coming into the locker room after the game, it didn't feel like the blowout it was. And I think that was off the back of, the 4th quarter. We had nothing to lose. We were trying to generate speed on the game, and that, in turn creates turnover and score off the back of that. And we weren't really concerned about that in the end of the day. You're going to lose by you're either going to get the 4 points or you're not going to get the 4 points. So, I think the scoreboard definitely doesn't reflect the game that we played. But, as you said, G in the midfield, I think it was a really good matchup in there. And we had some, Nina played a fantastic game in there. Just a pure brunt and being able to get
great form at the moment.
Yeah,
isn't
completely.
She?
There she is, speaking of the devil.
Couldn't have planned that better.
But she was amazing in there. Same with AMAC, week in, week out. But I think Melbourne probably play a different game to what we've ever experienced, and they love to sort of handball chain and just move the ball forward, using their hands a lot, which then gives their forwards an opportunity to sort of sprint back when there's a quick kick. They don't tend to just kick it long, which you sort of can't implement a +1 back because they're not going to use it. And if you're not pressing around the contest, that's where they sort of get you out.
Talking midfield, Ez. I think Ez,
Ez had a fantastic game
in terms of getting the mids some
first look. Yeah, absolutely. And against her old team too, round 5. This is her 5th game back since 2019. So I feel like she's really found a bit of her form and her competitive edge, which has been amazing to see. But there was definitely a lot of positives to take out of the game, and I think we'll reflect on them today as well. And definitely use that to sort of shape what the rest of our season will look like, coming up against Essendon this weekend as well.
Totally.
Which is exciting. I mean, you never want to walk out and think we lost by 50 points or something like that. But it's a learning curve, and, they're the benchmark, as you said, G, and we'll take a lot out of the game.
For sure, and I think, we highlight some other moments. You spoke on Nina. We had Aisling kick 3 of our 4 goals, and she's dangerous. She is dangerous in the forward line and so dynamic and just keeps presenting and moving. So, I mean, I think we touched on it in our first potty with her that we're excited by what's going to come for her this season. But I saw some really big moments when we needed it from her. And I think one of the ones that she when she took the mark and was going back, she was almost like high-fiving everyone already. Being like, guys, it's about to go through.
Yeah, I love it.
But she was
her
awesome
body
up
work
there.
to take some of those marks, and it was also her work up the ground. Like she's
completely.
clean, the speed that she can take a ground ball at, and then the way
Do
that
a
she can
step,
get out.
yeah.
Like the movement is great. So
Yeah, it's exciting watching her play, and you just think as if you have never played this game before because it's
Set
just
shots. She's
when
a
she kicked
beautiful
it
kick.
from 40 metres, I was telling him, like, go back, take your 30. What you want to do with that 30, whether it's a set shot or find a pass, do what you want. And the way she just went back and kicked it, I was like, that is fantastic. Wow.
And for all of that, she is our High Performer of the Week, presented by our high performance partner, Deakin University, a global leader in sport education. So big raps for Aisling. We're excited
Well done,
what she'll continue to do in that forward line and around the ground. As you said, she's great by foot, and it's not just the set shots, but it's also the work that she can do.
Yeah.
Great long handballs or the kick to advantage to teammates. So great work, Aisling. Becky, I thought you were also big again. Like you've just come in and again had another great game off that half back, bringing the attack and again in the midfield. So
And Meg as well. I think Meg stood up in some big moments. Some of her contested
Spoils and
marks,
Yeah.
and they've got a fantastic forward line, and you know, they're all scorers. You know, you look at each one of them, and she definitely, pardon me, she definitely, I think, led by example in her physicality, in her, you know what, if I'm not winning this, I'm halving this contest because,
Completely.
you know, you're not getting it. So
Absolutely.
shout out to Meggie as well.
Yeah. Essendon this week. It is a trip to Warrnambool. There's an open training for those of you that are making your way down to Warrnambool, having a weekend away maybe, or that live down that way.
I love Warrnambool.
Yes, 2:30 on Saturday.
I love
The Bull.
Warrnambool. The Bull.
I actually got a message from one of my good girlfriends that I grew up living next door to, and she lives now in Warrnambool, and she sent the message through, it's that time of year again. Can't wait to see you on the weekend. And I was just like, oh, it's just so nice how the support we have around us. But trip to the Bull.
So Sunday
it feels
game.
so far away as
Yeah,
well. Like
yeah.
it's Tuesday now, but Sunday game. But
We're travelling Saturday. We have the open training
Yeah.
Sunday. It is a full weekend, and then we go head off to all the clinics on Monday and get around the schools and the
yeah,
community, which would be great
which
fun.
will be nice. But
So-
excited.
Yeah, and Essendon have been playing some great footy. We've
Yeah.
I watched their game on the weekend against Collingwood, and again some things that we'll prepare for, and again focus on ourselves. Like we talk about the method that we want to play with, and a few tweaks that we can make, and that composure piece, and the execution. But it is, I think they called it the Prasparkas Cup last year when we took on Essendon for the first time. Big game for Georgie Prasparkas, being her 25th
And
AFLW game. And did you say it
and
was
Maddie's 50th game.
Maddie's
so
50th. So-
a big weekend. And
Oh, wow.
last year as well, probably good to mention that Prez didn't play against Maddie in Warrnambool.
True.
She was suspended.
But
So this will be her first time playing Maddie
Do you know what? I totally
against
forgot about
Essendon.
that.
She
Yep.
played against
She
her
played her
in
at
Carlton.
that's right.
Yeah.
And they
Correct.
called that
They
the
called that was the
Prasparkas
Prasparkas Cup,
Cup.
wasn't it?
True, because you know, I was thinking, I was like, did they
Actually
did they
play.
beat us in that one? Did
Essendon?
Maddie win the first?
Oh,
No,
sorry,
when it was
Carlton won,
'Cause
and
I
that
was
was a.
thinking-
We won't ever talk about that game. That
Yeah,
was
no,
awful.
let's not. But I was trying to think. I was like, I swear last year we beat them, but they
Yeah.
held the Prasparkas Cup before. That would make sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
big game for those two girls.
Mm-hmm.
Essendon have been playing some great football.
footy. Yeah.
I think we're on the same points on the ladder, so that will be a great test.
Mm-hmm.
And Maddie played a really great game against us last year too. And Bonnie Too Good, another great player of theirs who's been taking it to the next level this season. So
Yes.
some great players on their team, but so excited to tap into us again this week. And that's the beauty of footy. You move on from one week to the other and you take your learnings out of each game. But no, pumped for this weekend.
Absolutely. So we'll have a short little break, and after the break we are very excited to chat with Daisy Pearce, so stay tuned. There's a reason Deakin Sports Management course attracts the greatest talent the nation has to offer. Because when you join the longest running sport management course in Australia, you'll gain access to unique opportunities with the leading clubs and organisations. Their partnership with the Geelong Football Club, multiple elite industry partners, will open the door to exciting placement experiences that connect you with the best athletes, managers and administrators in sport. Help shape the future of the sports industry. Secure your part in the golden decade of sport. head to deakin.edu.au. As promised, we're joined by a very special guest today. Her CV is too-packed to go through line by line, but let's just say she's an icon of not just women's football, but football in general. And of course, current Geelong assistant coach Daisy Pearce. Welcome, Daisy.
Hey, Nay.
How are you going this morning?
Hi, Beth. Yeah, I'm
Hey,
good. How are
Days.
you guys?
Yeah, good.
Very well.
You've had a different weekend, wasn't it? A bit of a longer weekend.
Speak for yourselves.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you have had a jam-packed weekend
No.
watching all your Instagram stories. You're here, there and everywhere.
I was here Thursday night, most importantly.
Yes, we can see that on the broadcast actually. The nice pan.
No, it was awesome. I mean, disappointing obviously for you girls in the last quarter, but I thought, you should take a lot of confidence out of the first couple of quarters.
Absolutely, we were just saying that earlier. That lots of positives we can take out, but lots we can learn. And Melbourne are a really good side, and you know that. Having spent a lot of time there, they are. What was it like watching on? I'm sure you've been to other games this season. Have you been able to get to other games? Obviously, the AFL balance between.
Yeah, a bit tricky. I've been to a few. I commentated the opening
Did
night,
you?
which was
Yeah, that was
wouldn't
good.
recommend. That was an emotional cocktail that I probably wouldn't serve up to anyone else.
Yeah, well, it's always challenging. We talk about people that when you're injured or you're not in the side, watching on is always challenging. How was it? How did it feel?
It's just weird. Like, it's a mixture of pride, envy, excitement, both because, I'm removed as a player and it's been such a big part of your life. I think the hardest bit on night one was like, I was fine, I was holding it together, and I think lucky that I had a job to do. So I was busy and tasks on front of mind, but then just had a quiet moment. Oh, and that's right, the flag unfurling was mixed in the middle of it, which was weird as well. And like the whole year I've constantly been like, kind of representing Melbourne in this moment, and now I'm working at Geelong. Like I feel like a two-timer. There was a few months early in the year where I was like, I've worn a Melbourne polo and a Geelong polo this week. It's not good.
Well, you're doing it well. You're doing it very well.
But no, it's gotten easier and easier, and the longer I've spent here, you just get invested, and the people and whole environment's amazing, so it starts to feel like home quicker than I expected. So yeah, that's been great. But yeah, opening night, the hardest bit, standing there, quiet moment, didn't have anything to do, and I always used to warm up with Kate Hoare, and I was like,
Who she got as a partner now?
she's moved on. And that was like probably when it hit me the most. But in many ways, it's gotten easier the longer the season's gone on. And it's just great to sit back and watch women's footy and admire and be in awe of how much it's improved. Like, when you're in it, you can appreciate it in a different way because it's whizzing around you and you got to keep up. But to sit back in the stands and, I've come down and watched all of our home games and gone and seen a few through commentary, and it's just like, wow.
No, it's been so good to have you around here, Days, as well. But you're not just here. You're doing so much else. You're a mum as well, and you're juggling it all. Do you want to talk us through a bit of maybe what your week looks like? Because I know you're I don't even know if you probably know what's on the week agenda. Is it day by day? Or
yeah, day by day. I'm sure Renee
go?
can attest to that. It's no 2 weeks are the same, and it's just a bit of a juggle. Like, I think everyone, the way people usually ask it is like, oh, how do you balance everything? And it's like, it's not balanced. It's like, I was just thinking about that now. I was like skipping in with exhilaration because I might be able to get a bit of life admin that's like extremely buried down and overdue. It's like the opposite. I think it's accepting that it is going to be chaotic and out of balance and just accept that. Like, the reality is the last few months I've been leaning into work and footy, but now it's like that lifts a little bit and I've got an opportunity to lean into a few friendships I've neglected. Life admin, like I said, sorry to my accountant if you're listening. All of that kind of thing. So it's more, just Ben and I are a good team. Like, he works pretty hard as well. He's a fiery, and it's a juggle. We've got a great babysitter, Pip. We've got help. Like, I think people sort of look at it, and I'm always try and be very open about the fact that we used a lot of help through Ben's parents and my mum, and it's not done alone.
Yeah,
I can do it because I'm not doing it
and
all by myself.
Yeah, of course. And the commentating stuff, Days, how did that come about? You're very good at it, natural at it, and I love hearing you on all the footy stuff, and you know your stuff. So I feel like it's great to, sorry, I can't hear myself anymore, but it's, it's awesome to have like your perspective on the game and, you know, a female voice out there, especially amongst all the men's stuff. So yeah, how'd you get into that?
Faked it till I made it. No, like most things, it was kind of just the starting point was just passion for the game and love for the game. I mean, I've loved it for a long time and used to, actually my dad was a pilot and I'd wear little headphones like this from his aeroplane. He had like a light aircraft growing up and I'd get the aeroplane headset out and I'd pretend they were plugged in and sit and watch footy and commentate. So and Dad would join in and we'd take it so seriously, like you weren't allowed to get up unless it was quarter time, like you couldn't go and get something to eat or but that kid like never considered it properly for a career, so I went on to do midwifery and other work. Like so many of us, you don't consider a career in sport or football or broadcasting because we just didn't see it. And then through playing and off the back of the exhibition games, where it became a bit more prominent, and they started to realise there was a real opportunity to push football into a new market and increase female participation. They kind of, it was a lot through Gil McLaughlin's leadership. He was sort of like, well, we need our broadcasters to reflect that as well. So I caught wind of that because I was doing a couple of days a week or 1 day a week at AFL House, and I was like, well, I've got no media training, but I'm going to give this a crack.
I love it.
And, it was horrific. You say I'm good and natural. I should bring in the tapes of the first
I was going to say, do you remember your first game?
I'll never forget. No, the first thing I did was like a mocked up. It was like I had to review 3 old games that had happened and come in and review them. Do you remember that show Game Day that was on Channel 7 on a Sunday morning? And I had to sit there with Hamish McLaughlin and like pretend we were on the show. And I was so bad. Like, I don't know, so bad. I could have like died. And then the first show I ever did, which was live, I remember like having that earpiece in, which is so distracting at the beginning. Yeah, well, not constantly, but they were like, count down to when you're on air or if you're about to go to a break, that kind of thing. Sometimes you'll be mid-sentence and they're like, all right, we better wrap. We've got a hard hit in 10 seconds. So, like, that's happening as you're talking.
I'm bad enough with my own thoughts in my own head, let alone somebody else's coming in.
If I ever look like a deer in the headlights, that's probably what's happening. They're like, rap,
hurry it up, Days, hurry it up.
But, yeah, so it's horrific. And it's like anything. You just keep putting yourself out there, be open to the feedback from the right sources and try and get better and... Yeah, just keep coming back to, even in the hard days or when you're getting plenty of good feedback on social media and the like, that you get to talk about footy for your job.
Completely.
And, you know, there's a little girl out there that does see themselves now and who's probably sitting there doing what I did, commentating, but she can actually see that she can do it. So that's kind of what I lean on. But, yeah, it's awesome. And to be involved in days like Saturday at the grand final, it's just like...
Pinch yourself.
Pinch yourself.
You touched, Days, on the transition and not picturing yourself in the commentary. When it comes to the coaching side of things and you're spending a lot more time doing that, obviously here now, was that something that when football became a thing and obviously playing was a focus at that point, but was coaching something that with your leadership in that space that you always aspired to, or does that kind of just happen as well? Like, what was the pathway into coaching?
Yeah, I guess aspired to. Like, I always... It's funny with women's football, and you would have experienced this a bit too before AFLW, is like at Darebin, it was a successful club for a long time in the Victorian Women's League, the highest league, but we relied on one basically volunteer coach. So, and we were always, you know, at any one time you might have 10 girls who have played before and in 5 girls that have never played. So you're always kind of coaching on the run if you were one of the ones that had been around footy for a long time. Yep. So I think it's always kind of been a part of my footy experience is like teaching on the run and being involved in the strategy and planning and that kind of thing without having actually coached. And then similar as a leader, as a captain, and then to another level when I came back after kids, like my leadership model used to be like lead by example, have relationships with everyone and like put time in, show care, all of that. And that still was. But post kids, like I couldn't build my confidence off, I've done more than you. Like that's, I used to walk out and look at my opponent in the eye and think, I've done more work than you. After kids, it just wasn't true.
It's not the same time.
Maybe historically I've done a bit, but I can't convince myself of that properly anymore. I had to kind of shift my attention from like, how am I going to get 5% better this season, to like, how can I make 10 people 1% better by helping them? That sort of was the shift. Sorry, Beck, I feel
No,
like
you're
I'm
so
back
fine.
to you.
You're right there, doll.
Yeah, so that also maybe lended itself a bit more to stepping back away from the me that is life as a player, to more about the whole team and being able to add value to other people. In saying all that, all of that experience was probably 1% of the job that it takes to actually be a coach, and, you know, making this transition's been a huge challenge. I'm back to the start and kind of learning again, but I'm absolutely loving the challenge, and I just love being involved in a team as well. That was the other thing. As I kind of got towards the end of my playing career, I had the opportunities in the media, which I love and I'm super grateful for, like I said. But you don't belong to anything. And that cycle of like strategize for a week, train hard, tip in, and then go out there for 2 hours with no guarantees, and either have to pick yourself back up and go again, or bring yourself back down and go again. Like, that was the rhythm of my life a bit as a competitor and someone who loved being a part of a team. So I knew that I was going to lose that through playing, and the next best thing was probably going to be coaching. So, yeah, that was probably a big part of it as well.
I just love that. I just loved everything you just touched on then. We obviously have a lot of young listeners and I guess players themselves listening. And, I mean, you've touched on there what you did as a teammate and as a leader at the club in terms of coaching on the run, and then now actually, you know, being a coach. What attributes do you see in players that just make them so coachable, or that you love to see?
I think the thing that springs to mind, and there's heaps that I could probably say, but the one thing that springs to mind is like, and particularly around young players, is like, no one expects you to be perfect or to know everything or to get it right all the time. And I think the thing that holds people back is when they hide from their mistakes, don't just own them, or like don't want to be seen to not know, so they don't ask. And then it means they're wasting time. They're not getting anywhere because you're not putting it out there that you don't know. Like, I think usually with the young players that came to Melbourne, they were the ones that were harder on themselves. And it means that we lost their exuberant energy, just the raw energy that young players bring. So it's like, bring all of that. If you don't know, just ask. If you make a mistake, well, welcome to the club. I used to, it's funny, when I watch footy, because I'm hard on myself as well, I say all this from a position of being not great at it myself. I got better at it as time went on. I was a lot more compassionate towards myself. But when I watch my favourite players, when they make a mistake, just like note it. Like, Nina Morrison stuffs up too. Like, oh, she is human. Yeah. Like, you're allowed, even the best players, if you watch the game of footy is made up of 1,000 mistakes. Like, move on from them, because if you don't move on straight away, you're actually not helping yourself or the team. We've lost you for 5 minutes potentially. And, your teammates and your development relies more on you moving on and just being present for the next 5 minutes than it does being perfect or getting everything right or knowing everything.
I love that. And then, sorry, I'm going to seal because I feel like it rolls straight into it. But what then differences have you noticed going from females to now males?
So many. And not all of them are specific to gender. Like, some of it's just the difference in the formats of the comp. Like, you guys would know that the pressure and like intensity on every match is real, because if you lose it's not just like a game. There's not time to work into your season and bank enough wins to just get in, and then, not that that's ever the language in men's either, but like, it's a different format. And there's just a lot of differences in terms of like, again, I'm not sure if it's gender or just the fact that we're here for a less amount of time, so it's like a lot more intense and energetic. Or just that I came from a different club. I feel like every team has an identity in a way, like, whether it's men's or women's, but like clubs have a bit of a persona and identity. But yeah, we're definitely a lot louder. Like, I notice when like when you girls come in, you can sense that the women's team's coming, like, which is great. It's kind of a bit more like my normal too, because that's what my footy experience was like, whereas the boys are a bit more mellow and business-like. There's still a few that are, up and about and carrying on. But
it's funny because we tend to get the old, speak up girls at training, but we can't stop speaking amongst the corridor.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. The boys are probably louder out on the track and field than in the corridors. True. But like maybe if we could blend the two and get somewhere in between from both, it'd be good. But no, I think probably the other thing is a lot of questions. Like girls ask a lot of questions, which is a good thing, I think. That was when you speak to coaches have gone the other way to what I have, where they've come from men's to women's. I'm sure you would have heard this as well, where it's like, they just ask so many questions and want to know and like want to know the why and all that kind of thing. Whereas sometimes with the boys, it's a bit more like, all right, this is what we're going to do, and you think, oh, did I say that wrong? But they just go out and do it, without asking too much. So it's just different, but both are great, and it's a good challenge to try and bring a bit of my experience here, and then also for me to learn their way of doing things as well. It's been a big challenge, but awesome.
Conscious of time, Daisy, I know that you've got a meeting to get to, but we might just sneak in one more question if you have time for it. You touched on the identity of like Melbourne being different to Geelong, and in both programs I'd say that the clubs have been quite successful in recent years. Is there something that you've picked up about the culture of either of the clubs, whether they're similar or different, that you think has shaped being part of that, the why and the success? And is it people values? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely the people, and probably, question without notice. If I had to narrow it down to one thing, it's like caring about others, but like wanting to see others succeed. Like it's about others and the team rather than self. It's probably the two, and I think that would probably be true of any team environment. But for the two I've been in, and I know there's been great success here, and then seeing the success that Melbourne had, that's probably it. Like, if you come to work every day wanting yourself to shine, I don't think that's the quickest road to success. Whereas if you come to work thinking, how can I see someone else shine and how can I make them better? And I've seen that in both. I've only been here a short time, but I see that here, and it was a big part of my experience at Melbourne as well. That's probably the one thing.
And from, as I said, there was a long list of accolades about you, and the 4-time AFLPA best captain. I think that from externally, from us watching on and seeing you and how you led, I think you definitely demonstrated that and led that. And we've seen that since here, the relationships that you've formed in such a short period of time, both with the women's, even though you're not directly involved in our program. I see you having conversations in the hallway and getting to know the girls alongside the men. So we are so pleased that you're part of our program here at the Cats, and that what you're already bringing and the impact that you're having. Thank you so much for coming on board and having a chat with us. We've got Hock
walking up the ramp
morning.
and he's ready.
Waiting for his cuppa.
He's always late, but he's on time today, so I better wrap this up.
We do normally do a segment, the Which Cat Is That, but we're going to save that because we're conscious that you need to get to your meeting, and Becky and G are getting greater chance of winning today with you not getting involved.
We love it.
They'll be happy about that. But thank you, Daisy, for coming on.
Thanks for having me and for your kind words. But look forward to watching you girls for the rest of the season, and happy to help in any way if I can.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Support our AFLW program and the development of women's football today with an AFLW supporter membership. Plus, enjoy access to 2 AFLW home and away games in 2023. Access to Cats AFLW games, a Cat Shop voucher valued at $20, member perks from the Cats and our partners, and get all latest Cats news direct to your inbox, all for just $50. Visit membership.geelongcats.com.au for details.
And we are back. How great is Daisy to chat with, first of all?
Just so good.
Acknowledge
the fact that I couldn't speak because I was just in awe of what she was saying.
I've spoken to her and led a panel where I was asking her questions, and at that time I ran out of room. And again today, I had all these questions that we could ask her, and you could
sit with her for like 2 weeks, couldn't you, and just pick her brain.
Yeah, learn things from her experience and I think who she is as a person too.
Completely.
But Thanks again, Days. But she has had to run off to a meeting, so we've held over which cat is that. So it's a 50-50 today. The guests are on 2 points. G, you're on 2 points. Becky's on 1.
On the board.
On the board. So we're going to get straight into it. Good luck. Oh, buzzers first. What are we rolling with today?
God, I stuff this up every time, so I'm going to go buzz because that's what seems to come to my mind every time.
Let's go with... I'm going to go with bang. I reckon it's like buzz, bang.
Yeah.
It's just got a good feel to
Okay,
it.
buzz and bang. Alrighty. You've got your one guess. There's 8 clues if you use them all. Okay. First clue. This cat once kicked the only goal for their team in a game. As a junior, this cat wore a helmet. This cat has made 2 teams of the decade for netball in their local football netball league. This cat has played in the midfield.
Okay.
Since season 6, this cat got herself a new pet.
Bang. I'm going to try. Was that my buzzer?
Yep.
Bang.
I think
Yeah,
so.
great. Is it you, Nay?
No.
See, that was on my head too, and then I was like, she's surely not calling Parker a pet.
No, but when did you get... Oh, my gosh. What
Leo's 9, I think. Yes, 9. Alrighty.
All right,
Becky,
I'm
well, you can have,
I'll milk
you
this.
can choose it too.
no.
This cat used to wear an odd-numbered Guernsey, but now is even.
We've
This-
already done this one, haven't we?
This cat has 4 sisters.
Do you know it, G?
I thought I did off that one, but now...
This cat has played alongside another person on the podcast who's now in a meeting today at another club.
Oh, Buzz. Ezhor. No.
No.
Oh! Can I go again? Can we go lucky?
Yeah, let's go.
Lucky?
We'll go.
All right. Can I go?
Hang on. Yeah, I think you can go. Oh, yeah.
How
I think
many
they're
left?
all. This is a. Yeah, you can go, and then we'll just alternate.
Shan.
It is Shan.
Sorry,
What?
Shan.
Oh,
Maybe I'll give you a half point.
Netball got
She's
me.
had 2 team of the decades in netball. She
The
played
in midfield.
netball
Do you know what?
got
And
me.
the whole
yeah,
time
she played on the wing.
The part that throws me is going like, are these clues at our club or is it someone who's played elsewhere?
No.
Because through the midfield,
Yes.
I just...
She
I
played
I mean,
thought-
actually,
I
to be fair,
thought
she
she
has
has
rolled
played on
through
the
the
wing here.
midfield for us as well.
I think I'm going to give you a half point.
I'll
I
take
don't
a
think
half.
you can get a whole point. Are you happy with that, Becky? Do you think that's
Yeah.
fair?
I'll take a
I'll
half.
take it.
So you're on 2.5. I can't give you the full point for that one. Well done.
And the helmet. Oh, I
The
want to see a
helmet, I
photo.
know.
Yeah,
she
can
said
we
her mum,
please
and
get a
so
pic
she
of
said
that?
that the juniors, they used to play at half time of the senior game. So interesting. And her,
God,
yeah, her
cute.
mum got her to wear a helmet, and then she hadn't played since then, obviously, till taking it up a bit later. She had a
didn't
couple of
know she
games at
played
Casey.
And the
Casey.
four sisters, we were talking about that on the plane.
Yeah, so
Aw.
Chantal Emerson is,
Good,
is for
Shani.
today.
Sorry, Shan.
Hey, no, it was tricky.
That was a good one.
We're
What was-
rolling with
what was
back
the
to
last
back. The last clue was the she's played alongside another person on the pod. So
Oh,
preparing this and thinking Daisy, we might have done this segment with her. I wanted it to be someone that Daisy might know.
Might have known.
So yeah, the
If
Melbourne
Daisy had
connection.
got that, it would have been like, oh my God. She would have though. She probably would have.
Yeah,
I love it, Nay. Good job.
Oh, good. No, we're rolling with back to back.
we're back to back.
Segments here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we're gonna roll straight into ready. Rankin with Georgie Rankin.
Alrighty, so this week is a little bit, well, I guess in a way a little bit different. We're not actually doing a ranking 1 to 5. We're kind of grouping this this ranking together, just off the back of I should probably say what it is first. So we're doing our top 5 rivalries because we've got a couple of new ones roll in. One being, Melbourne, and I don't know if those that were there on the day looked at Melbourne's banner and it said Geelong and Melbourne, two of the oldest rivalries
Yeah.
starting a new chapter or something. I've definitely done that wrong. Anyway, something along those lines. And I thought, we've got the Bombers coming up this weekend, which is another one that I feel as a group, it's sort of, the Press Parkers Cup, and a couple of players have
Yep.
crossed over
Yes.
as well when there was the expansion and that sort of thing. So I just feel like there's probably 5 up there that as we continue playing and the years go on, it may become a bit more distinct about where they all sit. But for now, there's probably a group of 5 that I see and running past you guys are our sort of top 5 rivalries. So obviously, as mentioned, this is in no particular order. We've got Melbourne and Bombers. I feel there's one with Richmond. That's definitely there. It's always been there. I think we've sort of been quite evenly matched across the time. And have we win losses has been?
I feel like the first time we played them, we won. Was that away in Bendigo?
Yeah.
So we won by a bit.
Yeah.
Then they came out, won us by a bit.
That was their first win.
First win ever.
That was here, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was here.
Oh, that was awful.
And then
the
we
close
won
game,
last year.
Yeah, like Prez after or just before the siren.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a tight one there. So we've got Richmond. The other one I would have a look at is the Pies. I think there's something there, and I think particularly this season we obviously played them in the Pracky, but looking to repeat that when we face them in the regular season.
First ever game we ever played against Collingwood, won by the point.
That kicked it off. I think
100%.
And we've played quite a few games against them.
Yes,
along the way.
we do. We do face them quite a bit, and then the last one I've got here, which we touched on earlier in one of our earlier podcasts, was North, and for us looking to get that first win, but I think there is some real mutual respect there, and alongside that rivalry, because they know that we're coming. So there you go, a little bit short and sweet one, but grouped our top 5 rivalries that, as I said, will continue to grow, and maybe there'll be new ones pop up. But, we do have like Hawthorn later in the year, and I know when we think club to club, that's probably one in the men's space that's always there. So we'll see sort of how it all pans out. But there's my ranking with ranking for this week.
I like it. Let's knock one of them off this weekend.
Absolutely.
Well, that is it for the latest episode of Yeah the Girls. So thanks for listening. Thanks to our sponsors, Deakin University. We will see you next week or in Warrnambool, hopefully.
Yes. Thanks for joining, guys.